Hello and welcome to tonight's exciting episode of Good Night with Scooter Pie. I am your host, Scooter Pie, and you are... Hi! Nice to have you here in my room. Applause! So for tonight's exciting episode, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our guest who I interviewed. Her name is Noelle Reign, and I have known her for years, since another decade, we'll put it that way. And she is a well-known burlesque performer in the fabulous city of Albany, New York, the capital of New York State. And she and two other performers, T.Z. Roosevelt and Persephone Palm, make up Pop Culture Provocateurs, otherwise known as PCP, but minus the terrible hallucinations and desire to jump off of buildings. They will just fill you with the good kind of excitement, no paranoia, and maybe a desire to take off your clothes, but in a good way. And they do shows together in, like I said, Albany, New York, but not right now. So she joined me via the magic of the internet to talk about her history with performing, her cooking tips, her favorite and least favorite words, and some other cool stuff, all in a fantastic vintage woolen bathing suit that she wore just for you. So without any further talking in this part, I would like to introduce my interview with the fantastic Noelle Reign. Oh, and she's named for the song No Rain by Blind Melon. That's a fun tidbit. Enjoy!
Hello everyone and welcome back to Good Night with Scooter Pie, and I'm so excited to introduce, weirdly enough, we're not twins, but you'd think, the one and the only Noelle Reign. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You look fabulous, and I do think we had like some kind of psychic link going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is definitely a look inspired by you. You know, my mentor, the person who got me into burlesque.
Hello, me! Is that what do you have on the rest of your outfit there?
Oh, this is a vintage baby suit. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous.
It's very heavy. It's like a wool or blend.
It is swimsuit?
Really comfy.
It's a swimsuit, you said?
Yes.
And it's wool. That's interesting. What were they thinking back then? Wonder if more people, drowned.
Yeah. It couldn't have been, pleasant to sit around in a damp suit. Not that it ever is.
Maybe there were more instances of yeast infections. But anyway.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, yes, once upon a time, you came to see me in a show that I was doing. And then the next thing we know, you have your own burlesque empire happening in the great city of Albany, New York. How many years has it been now that you've been performing?
I think it's the 10th year.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. That would be because my old show, Spam Scooter Pie Midnight, that started in 2010, and now somehow it's 2020. Wow, that's amazing. Happy decade.
Yeah.
And now you are just taking things over as 1/3 of, or now it's more of a troupe, right? Well, of your burlesque company, really, Pop Culture Provocateurs. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that started and where you're all at now?
Yeah, well, it started, as you said, there was a trio of us, Persephone Palm, T.Z. Roosevelt, and I. Basically, it all kind of started, I think, on a ride back from the Mermaid Parade, and we decided we wanted to put on a Game of Thrones show, and we just kept the momentum going with monthly shows at the Fuse Box, and gave ourselves a name, Pop Culture Provocateurs.
Who came up with the name?
I think it was Persephone.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely liked it, and I was like, yes, I think that's a good one to go with. So it didn't meet any problems, and that's what We use now. And the shortage PCP is a really fun kind of.
It pops, and it makes you think of angel dust all at the same time. So I know that before you got into burlesque, you did some other types of dance, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you did a lot of Irish step dancing, didn't you?
That's what I grew up doing. That's the only thing. Yeah, that's what I remember doing from the very first time I can remember dancing. It was learning how to Irish step dance with my family. And
did you have to do the curls? Because I see there's a lot of these like very intense like barrel curl action happening.
The fetiches have such crazy rules. But yes, about the time that I was dancing, they started putting all the crazy curly rules into place.
So there were curly rules? They were like mandated?
Yes, there was like weird, you had to put them in this, you had to curl your hair in a certain way. And then when you unrolled the curl in the morning, you had to separate it into like 3 separate curls. And it all had to be just so. And that's why my mom did not let me compete.
And so if you did it, say, into, I don't know, 4 pieces because you were feeling rebellious, would you be, like, disqualified?
I don't know. Who the fuck is counting their curls?
Well, it sounds like they might have been. So how are you dealing with your quarantine there in upstate New York?
Things could be worse, you know? I'm definitely lucky, and I can get out of the house and take a walk through the neighborhood, and there's a stream, and that keeps me sane, and there are birds and trees, and things are growing.
I remember that one time you presented me with literally the best bacon I've ever tasted in my life.
We do make good bacon, yes.
Yeah. What's the secret to the good bacon?
You have to keep an eye on it. I mean, a lot of people complain that bacon takes too long, and yeah, sometimes it does, but if you want a perfect slice of bacon, you have to cook it correctly. And
so it's just you fry it up normal style, but it's a matter of just like doing it for long enough?
Yes, and you have to make sure, because bacon is tricky because there are certain areas of the bacon where it's a lot of, pork, and then there's a certain area that's a lot of pork fat. So those cook at different rates, and you can use a little fork to make sure they all cook it like enough.
What are you watching right now?
I am rewatching Lost.
Ooh, what season are you on?
We're the first season.
And is this your second time watching it?
No, it's not my second time.
Does it, every time you watch it, does it make more sense? Or is it still confusing?
At the end, it goes off the rails. But the first season, every time I watch it, I realize why people fell in love with the show. It's beautifully shot, and yeah, there are these little Easter eggs everywhere. And the first season is great.
What would be the very first thing you would teach them to do?
I would probably teach them hip circles. Just
regular hip circles?
Well, posture first and always. Yeah. So roll those shoulders back and get your chest out, and then bend your knees and try and move those hips.
So just forward
or back and
we're doing it. You just can't see us, but we're doing it. We're doing it so good you can't even see the top move. But now I'm going the other way. That feels good.
Ooh, yes. Can you reverse it?
So, okay, what I'm going to do to end things up is did you ever used to watch Inside the Actors Studio?
Yes.
You know how they used to do the questions? The questions?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some of the Inside the Actors Studio questions. Okay, so the first one is your favorite word. Just your favorite regular word. Or a favorite.
Alliteration.
Ooh. And your least favorite word or word you hate?
Dry.
How interesting, because a lot of people would say moist. But
I have no
the
problem.
concept or the word? Made me thirsty. Okay, and then the next one is your favorite curse word.
Fuck.
Tried and true. It feels so good. It's safe to do. And then there's one, and it's and this you can take this anyway. It can be like artistically or whatever, or just for life. Turn-ons.
Turn-ons. Dancing. Music. Oh. Ass. And eyes.
Ass. Dancing, music, ass, and eyes. And turn-offs.
Narcissism.
So if someone had great dancing, music, ass, and eyes, but they were narcissistic about it, they would cancel each other out.
Yeah, usually that's how it happens, right? You can't, I mean, narcissism, it takes that you can totally be proud of something without taking it to that next level, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Acknowledge that you are talented without being fucking dick about it.
Yes, 100%, because confidence is sexy. Narcissism is horrible.
No.
Okay, so if you weren't a burlesque performer / whatever day job you have, what would you like to be doing for a job?
I would kind of like to be a seamstress. I think it would be really fun to, and I'm hoping I can work on this in the future, but my ability to create patterns is weak.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just be able to make more things.
It seems like it involves a lot of like math and rulers, so
it does, yeah.
More for you. But you're very good at that stuff. What is one job that you would never want to do?
Being a pig farmer is really hard.
Do you know that personally?
Yes. Well, not
do you know
firsthand. Huh?
Do you know someone who is one?
Who grew up one, yes.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. It's not an ideal job, even though it sounds really fun. I'm just picturing like rolling around in mud with pigs, but I guess it's not.
It's not fun that you're in the pigs with. And I mean, farming in general is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And pigs are very smart. They're wonderful escape artists.
They'll steal your wallet.
Smell fucking terrible. Like they're the worst, one of the worst smelling shits ever.
Have you spent time with pigs yourself?
Not an enormous amount of time with pigs, and definitely not time on a pig farm, but I've driven by them.
Wow. Interesting. And, okay, so the last question is this. I didn't write it. So let's say that heaven is real, and you go there in the far, 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 far future when you're very old, and then there's God, or there's the spirit of the universe who says, what would you want this God to say to you upon your arrival in this heaven, in this scenario?
Sorry, I neglected my creation.
Well, thank you so much for being here on Good Night with Scooter Pie tonight. It's so lovely to see you. You look gorgeous. I wish I could give you, I'm going to do some hugs. Ah! Virtual hugs. Where can we find you online? Like, for example, Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on the Instagrams at Noelle Reign.
Do you have any parting words for our audience?
stay inside, stay safe. I'm just, yeah.
Once again, Noelle is part of Pop Culture Provocateurs, and we will be seeing lots more of her. So thank you and good night.
Thank you for joining me for this exciting episode of Good Night with Scooter Pie. I hope you have a good night, and see you next time.